What would you say to somebody who says, man, why is the God of the Old Testament so different and so extreme?
Yeah.
So vicious, but the God of the New Testament is clearly out of alignment with the God of the Old Testament. I've had people even in my small group say things like, I don't like reading the Old Testament because it's just so horrific. And who God is, I relate more to the God of the New Testament. How do you answer that question?
Of course, I would say that it's not a different God. And I don't want to sound, demeaning here, but I think for many people who have that question, two things: they're listening to other people and they haven't actually experienced themselves. And then secondly, they haven't really read broadly through the scriptures, because I can point out to you in the Old Testament or the Hebrew Bible places where you see an incredibly gracious God, a God who is compassionate, particularly to the least well-off. Equally, I can point to passages in the New Testament where there are some major scenes of judgment. I would encourage people to interact with a place like Exodus 34. Moses tells God, I want to see all of your glory. This is God now revealing to Moses who he is at his core.
His character.
So Exodus 34, beginning of verse 6. And he, this is Yahweh, passed in front of Moses proclaiming Yahweh the compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness, rebellion, and sin. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. Right, so you get that balance, but notice what he leads with and what the focus is on. And then you look at a passage like Leviticus 19, and you read about the care that God wants his people to have for the foreigner and for the widow and the orphan and the poor. It's quite amazing.